Alright, so this is Kelly Borsheim. I am in my little campo. It means field in Italian. And I'm working my little space here. This marble that you see over here, that was the face that I've been working on formerly in a yellow and white marble that I got in Carrara. And what I did was I took my cinder blocks, I had some extra cinder blocks, and I raised this up a bit because my piece of marble up here is much, much smaller than other projects, and so I needed to raise it up because my back needs to be straight when I work, and I need to be seeing a little bit more on eye level. I still look down on this in a little bit, but at the same time I need my arms to be at a good level to hold the tool safely, and that's what I'm working on here. So I measured the rock right before I carried it out of my kitchen again, and it weighs about 22 kilos, which is 48 pounds. So, and then I carried it down here because I didn't want to go back and forth on things. And now I'm going to start working on it. First I want to make another video in Italian for my local friends. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is for you as you watch this video. Hi, I'm Kelly Borsheim, and I'm going to start this marble commission that I have from two sisters that I know in Austin, Texas. Although I met them in Florence, Italy, 2013 possibly? I don't remember. Anyway, we have a picture to remember the occasion. So this is white marble from Carrara that I picked up some time ago with my friend Kumi. And it has 22 kilos for weight, which is about 48 pounds. I measured it because I had brought the marble to my kitchen. And I made a clay, what we call maquette in French, or bozzetto in Italian. And in this case I made it 100%. Because I wanted to figure out a lot of proportions, and I'm making two small faces, which is very difficult to make. Because when you make a figure smaller, every little slight change in proportion you make changes everything. So I wanted to make sure that I could do something and not make a mistake by enlarging it or something. So I made a clay model, and I'll show you pictures of this, put it into this video here. So I've done my drawings. I had the two side by side pretty much and did my measuring, and I've done a drawing here. Oh, let me forget the dimensions. So the dimensions of this rock, just for prosperity, is 24 centimeters, which is just under 9.5 inches. Okay, the height here that you see is 28 to be more precise centimeters, but about 11 inches. However, if I turn this around, you see that the rock, it's really not that high. So it's more square than it is anything else. But I wanted to use this height as much as I can. So I have kind of a wing coming up, and you'll see the design before. So I drew on here, I drew some marks. This is the face of one sister, this is the face of another sister, this is where the knee comes in, and this here. I didn't do a lot of detail on that because I found that perspective a little bit awkward, but I wanted to take my measurements on 3 dimensions so I can check myself, because I personally am not really good. I can measure something 5 times and get different results because I don't have the patience to be precise about it. I know that about my brain, and I don't know why I refuse to do it, but I have to accept who I am and all that. But so if I turn this around, you're going to see, oh, and so this width here is 4 3/4 inches, which is about 12 centimeters. So, and here's the design here. So I have a face of one sister, the face of the other sister. The wing is lower here, and then it comes up to as much as I can up high. And so the rest is some sketch of this other part. Right now I want to get off this top part. I want to start developing things. So I'm not going to bring the maquette out just yet, because right now I can see it's very sunny, and you can see my eyes are going, hey, it's too bright. However, it kind of has been doing this I want to rain thing. So I don't want, if I leave the clay out here, it's a wax-based clay. If I leave it in direct sun like this, it's going to melt and get really soft and sticky and destroy the shape. So I'm going to leave it in the house until the evening. And I've made enough marks that I can certainly get started here. So the other thing is, if it were to rain or get too cold or something, I just don't want the wax destroyed, because right now I really need it, especially for the faces. So I'm going to start with a diamond disc, okay? Let me stop for now and add something later. Okay, so here is my diamond disc, and before I plug it in, I always do the safety thing of holding down this button here and making sure that this locks into place. And then I make sure it's really, really tight on there, because you would be surprised that even if you haven't used this for a while, or sometimes it just works its way out, I don't want this thing spinning off in any direction when I don't know what's going to happen. It could hurt me, it could hurt the stone, and it could hurt all kinds of things. There are a lot of safety trips using this. This is my favorite type of diamond blade, or diamond disc, because it's called sintered. The diamonds are actually embedded in this section here and some of these little feet here. Also, this one is designed so that there's a flange on the back that I can tighten it this way here. And that means that if I want to cut this face, I can go all the way down, and I don't have a piece sticking out here to connect it to it. There are electric plated blades where the diamonds physically sit on top, and they're usually just on the edge. Those are good for cutting. This I can do a little bit of grinding because the face has a cut surface. This is not considered a cutting surface. But still, you want to be careful because really it's designed more as a cutting tool, not as a grinding tool. So the thing about this is I took the measurements on this side of the drawing and this side. The front seems to have the head marks are a little bit taller, and I'm going to go with that because, as you know, if I cut away the stone, I always lay this face up, never put this down. So as I cut away the stone, if I make a mistake, I have to redesign or push things back if there's space, because there's no way to get the marble back again. I mean, okay, yeah, you can take different pieces of marble and put them together. You can restore something as they do the antique things in the museum, but the awe of stone carving for me is to have it all one piece. Okay, so because of that, I'm going to probably cut with this side first. The other thing is, because this side, you see, I can do a straight line across like that, but if I'm not really seeing this, do you see how this really scoops down here? I want to make sure that I can cut straight away. Now, it could be that it's easier for me to cut a straight line if I get the angle properly. It may be straighter and easier to cut from the side that has the bulk instead of the side that has the air, because I'll draw a line this way, and it will be, if I draw the line this way, it'll be very easy to make a mistake, because I need, here's the thing, with a blade like this, you can't, it's unusual, you always hold the handle and this between you and the blade. So I could go up like this, although that's awkward for me really. I'm gonna probably cut from a different direction, probably go on this side, and then I have more control when I have the blade like this and I cut like that. But anyway, the point is, I can't make a curve with the blade like this, because if the blade is not designed to be doing curves and things, and what happens is if you bend the marble like this when you're cutting, the stone, the tool is going to get locked in the stone when you try to make a curve. It's not designed to do that. So what'll happen a lot of times is this will get stuck, this will stop, but the motor keeps going, so you burn out your tool. The other thing though that can happen, which is scarier, is that you're going to get a kickback, because this isn't going to want to keep going. And depending on how tight you're pushing and things, it could go boom. You don't want that to happen. So anyway, it's dangerous and we'll see what happens, but I'm going to put this in a position that makes it easy for me to cut with perfect safety, okay? And I forgot to mention that in this day and age with the COVID-19, with everybody complaining about how uncomfortable the masks are, even though they don't actually secure anything on the face from what I've been watching with people, instead, as a stone carver, I always wear dust masks to protect my face. Why? Because I don't care what any other carver says. Oh, marble's just calcium carbonate, it's not going to hurt you. Well, first of all, your tool is wearing away just as your stone is wearing away, and even if everything in it was not toxic, stone dust getting into your lungs doesn't go out. And that means that you've reduced lung capacity. And it's interesting because only recently my father even said to me that before he went to the Vietnam War, they had waterborne training in the United States Air Force. He was a fighter pilot there, and he said, "Oh my gosh, it was a 15-minute training, but all I can say is that feeling of suffocating to death is miserable." So I don't care what anybody says. Other carvers can do whatever makes them happy. I'm always going to wear my dust mask. I'm going to wear ear protection because I'm already half deaf anyway. And also I wear eye protection because I love seeing things. And sometimes a chip will just randomly go somewhere, so you need to protect all that. I also wear gloves and tennis shoes because if a tool drops, you develop the habit right away to get your foot out of the way. But you know, stuff happens sometimes. Sometimes it's a rock that's going, and sometimes you're in the zone and you're just like, whoa, 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 and you don't see everything. So if something ever falls on your hand, something like this is a heavy sucker. So anyway, at least with some shoes you have protection for your feet. I may be nude everywhere else in the rest of my body, but no, I'm protecting my hands, my head, every sense that I have, and my toes. So there's your health safety lection. Okay, I'm gonna get to work on this. Yay! Okay, I don't know if you can see that I lowered my stand a little bit, put the two pieces of wood off to the side because I felt again I needed to have the tool at my arm's length where I could control it, not up here where I'm out of control and I'm not strong. So I needed to do this way, and I turned the rock each time I turned it. And what I found is that this rock, even though it weighs 48 pounds, it's still too light. So what was happening was as I was making the cut, the rock was turning a little bit. No, that'll destroy my design faster than anything. Took out the famous sandbag, put it on the other end out of the way of the blade, continued to cut on 3 sides. Now I'm going to take a gift from a man named Giuliano. He's a masonry worker. He has a reputation for building the best walls around here. And he gave me these as a gift when he came to assist at the symposium in Milano, where I did the Park of Pinocchio statue. And he was there as an assistant for us. He can't be around the dust with his eyes and things. I don't remember how old he is. Maybe he's 80 or something now, maybe late 70s. Anyway, he gave me these things to use, so I was like, okay, that's cool. But he came as assistant, which I'm not used to doing. However, when I would cut like this, I would cut rows of the Pietra Serena one to get rid of. He would come in later and say, you take a break, give your break to a tools. I'll come in with my big muscular man stuff and choom. Okay, so I've cut enough here on each of the sides that I hope that this will snap away without damaging anything in this direction. And I also want to go this way, away from my sculpture. So I can go in here. So should have eye protection on. I'll take these because the sun is killing me right now. Okay. Do you hear the sing of that marble? It's gorgeous, isn't it? This marble's alive. It doesn't have a dead thud like a lot of them do. Ta-da! See, it looks like it went so fast, didn't it? Okay. And I can come over here. Do you note I'm changing my position based on what it does for my arms? So, and I can continue to come over here and do this, but I think I'm going to be fine right now. So, here you go. Remove this puppy. Let's get it standing up. Voila! The first cut of Sisterly Love. Okay, so you see I'm getting somewhere here, right? Now, look at this line. This line started closer to the head on this side here, but I got a little curve in there, which is not what I was intending, but and it's okay because I'm still far away from the head, but at the same time, I want to be working efficiently and I don't want to have to remove too much. Now, this point here that I've got of one wing, I've got to be careful from now on with this because that could be a dangerous weak spot. Also the same with this thing because you can see how thin it is now, right? Okay, so it's interesting because I started to use this other piece of marble here in behind this rock because this rock started sliding as I was cutting. I was cutting actually with this folded down over here, but I had to put that in there because the sandbags weren't working enough. So I've been looking at at this side and this side, and it's funny because I put my finger here, put my finger there, and then I look at them straight down and go, ah, side to side they're pretty good, and then I go over here, put my eyes way down here and go, top to bottom they're pretty good. So I'm going to keep working. This is the top of Susan's head, and that's the top of Carolyn's head, so I'm going to do that. But at some point when I get a profile, I'm going to start coming and working this way so that I can get the idea of where the heads are actually located. Well, I'm not doing so good on that pointing device, am I, with my video? I haven't decided yet if I want to cut this down here just yet. A large part is because this is going to be vulnerable if I'm moving the marble around all like this to carve things, but mostly it's because I've realized how light this piece is. I don't know how people carve small sculptures. It would drive me bonkers. But maybe they're not using spinning rotary tools on it, and you can put it in a pile of sandbags and it somehow stays better. I'm not sure, but in any event, I think I'm going to leave this cut for a little bit. I can work on this one maybe because it's much more subtle and it's still the body of the piece here. But I think now I want to come in from this direction here, decide where this point goes, and start cutting away. I'll cut away the first thing where Carolyn's face, which comes more forward. I'm going to cut that so I get this, and I'll know the thickness of her head. And then I come here, and there will be back here for Susan. So slowly I'll go back this way and keep things going. I'm not going to touch any of this right now because I'm not sure if that wing is going to stay there or not. Okay? So I went back to the house to get my blue marker so I could see this a little more easy, because what I want to do next, I think, is to come to this point. I've checked this point on both sides. Now I want to draw. I like the kid street chalk because it's bright colored and stuff like that, and it's very easy to wash off, but also it shows up very well on white marble. I think I drew that too crooked. Yeah. See, I want to come back over here. The thing is, I can use this at this stage because it's not so precise, and neither is my cutting. I'm staying actually a bit away from the distance. When I get closer in later, I'll want the pencil. And I can use crayons too. I like to use crayons. However, crayons have wax in them, and if I get close to the actual finished surface, good grief, I'm losing everything with the language. I don't want to have especially a colored crayon, because that could actually stain the marble and stay, because the marble is very absorbent. So anyway, another side note. I'm going to keep going. Thanks for a while. Paradiso. Can you hear the birdies? A little bit. More like the farming tractors. Sounds like a helicopter, that one. Okay. I hope you can see now that the form is emerging, the profile. I decided, because of the lightweight of the stone, I don't want it fighting me, that I'm going to leave this part here as a block for now, and I'm going to leave this part here underneath the wing and over the feet solid also for now. And I'm at the point now where what I want to do is to take this profile, stop working on it, and come to the side now and address the thickness. So for example, Carolyn's face is more front, and then Susan's is more in the back, because I wanted you to see both faces from more angles than possible, because I liked everything different. I didn't want to have everything flat. Alright, so the next thing to do is to get my bozzetto and come in from the side here and say, okay, remember where I put the line for Carolyn's face depth? And then behind that for Susan's. So I want to come in and do that, and what I'll start doing is taking off, slicing from this side here, but I'm going to stop at this curve of the leg here, okay? So I'm going to draw my line here a little bit higher than what I've drawn, and I'm going to remove this stuff here and start getting back and back and back. Okay, tutto a posto. Ha 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 ha. What's wrong with this picture? Hi, Yoda. Did you notice that I put my sculpture on the 180 degree from the carving of the original? I think I better turn one of those around, but not both. Okay, so like before in my kitchen, I want to kind of line this up like sight size, meaning from your point of view, these are not parallel, because I've got my marks here in pencil on the board, on the palette, and I want to make it so when I look at this, I come over here and I see this at the same angle. Now, one of the problems I'm having is this isn't wide enough for me to support. I need to make sure that I don't twist this over here and have it pop over. So I may decide to just fudge my position so that when I'm looking at this, I go, okay, this is perpendicular to my view. When I come over here, this is perpendicular, because I really don't want to lose either of these, and that would hurt if it fell on my knee. Alright, so we're back to measuring, my favorite thing in the whole world. Okay, again, this point right here where I touch, it's this part right here that's going to touch. I know everything in the rock is going to curve this way. However, it's not going to come in so much because I can see this point up in here. It's going to be from this line. Again, it really helps to have a plane here as though it's a block of marble here, because that's what the pointer does. It does from this registered point here that always remains the same. You go up, over, and deep. Okay? That's how the point-up system works. I don't have the patience for that, and maybe or maybe that's not a good idea. However, up on my pencil. Whoop. Okay, ouch. I may want to be more precise with my pencil than I want to be in the clay, but it really depends on what part I'm doing. So I have the knee marked here, and I just remeasured that. I'm happy with that. And I have this as a negative point here, so I'm happy with that too. Alright, so this curve here is the closest to this edge of the marble. And when I look at this plane, pulling this plane straight up like this, I can now get a measurement, although I'm, you know, this is not accurate measuring really. I should put a vertical thing straight up here and measure this, but instead what I'm going to do is something like this. I'm putting the base of this clear ruler on the line that I drew where the marble is. It's touching here, and from this point of view, which I probably should have put the camera behind me, I'm going now between the most outer point of her face is her nose. If you tilt the head back enough, it might be the chin, but I didn't lift it up that much for that. And this eyebrow, her face is also slanting towards me, so for example, this part of the forehead is out further than that. But right now, I just want to do the basic details. So from here, I take my pointer up to her nose, and then I back it off a little because I don't want to go up to exactly that surface. I'm not ready for that yet. So I'm going to mark that here. And take my exact pencil. More exact than the chalk. And I might have enough to keep going without having to sharpen it. Sometimes you sharpen these cheap pencils and they ended up taking off the whole lead and start all over again. I don't know what the deal's with that. Okay. Alright, so that I have is the face of Carolyn, which is going to be way over here. However, because I can see only her face, I can see everything. I know everything is back from this point. That is the point on. But when I get up to this area here, I need to be careful that I don't slice into what is supposed to become this part. So since I have marked her face, I'm going to mark a security safety thing, and that is maybe right about there. I want to be cautious and put on the side of her face again. You can't really see it in the video. I put the camera in a bad place, didn't I? This is her face. This is the point behind where her hair and the wing meet in the back of the sculpture. So, but I know her face is right here and it's slanting this way, okay? So I'm going to say, to be safe, I know that this is my mark here for the downward slope of this, but I want to come in right about here and say, I'm going to stop right there. I can tell that I'm going to knock her face back, but as I get to this level, I don't want to do that. And I'm going to keep this heavy because I want to make this line a very nice, slow, graceful curve, and I don't want to screw it up because I've cut off too much marble. So I'm coming here, and I'm going to make this measurement all the way around, and I can check it to make sure that it doesn't grow. I don't want to let go of my model here, because I can use this right here above her face. You see? Keeping my eye on the prize there. Okay, so this is what I'm going to come to do. And this is the cut for her face. Now, the other thing I want to realize is that I've got the cross of her necklace here is sitting up on top of this plane. And I want to leave space for that. It won't be as thick as that is there, but I wanted to leave it as a placeholder, so I want to be more conservative. So, but I think that's plenty of room there. But maybe I'll just make myself a little bit. I would rather ease up on it than screw it up seriously. Oops. And okay. Now I've got the depth of this part here. But if I want to be efficient, let me go ahead and start the next depth of the face. Okay? So from the point of view that I have, now I have to turn this again so I'm looking straight at the rock as much as possible. The curve of the hair on this face actually comes out a little bit more than the nose, but I'm going to again put a buffer in between them because I can move a little bit this way and a little bit this way. The curve either comes beyond the nose or the nose goes beyond it. And also, if I drop a straight line down the face here, yeah, it really depends. I can turn this either way. I'm going to just give myself a little outie here and say, all right, again, I'm putting the ruler on this and trying to keep it vertical. Measure with my handy dandy tool to the nose and to the curl, but leave a little bit of extra space there, okay? Again, better to be cautious than stupid. Sometimes it can be a fine line. All right, so this is the depth of the second face, the deeper face, the further back one. All right, however, I've got the necklace coming here, which if I drop this down, that means at this level, so it's a little bit higher than this curve. So that means I want to pull this straight. Let me show you what I'm doing there. Because her necklace is actually coming forward as I combine this shape with this shape. Okay, I've got everything running down here as if there's water pouring on it. So I'm not, if I drop something down this way, okay, I'm going to land right about this point, which is about so deep. Actually, that's not right because I've got that coming in. I've got to pull it deep to the marble. Okay, so I may choose to say, let me come over here. It's a little bit tall for this, and I want to mark this and say, okay, I'm looking for about this point. I'm going to add a little bit for my palette, remember? I'm going to come over here, although I'm still on the palette here, so I don't really need to worry about that so much. Alright, so yeah, this is the level I'm going to cut for Susan. So let me come over here and line this up. Alright, I'll cut Carolyn first and get this all even here. Then I will make a second pass to come here, and it will stop. Now, because her face is tilting in, again, I'm going to be conservative, and I'm going to stop that right about at this point, okay? All right. Now, another measurement I could take if I desire is to how this curve comes in here, and then create the little booty in the back. But what I would like to do first, I think, is to say from this point on, from here where the edge of the marble is, take a measurement from here to the hair on her, knowing that the wing is going to be a different issue. So I get the distance from the vertical of the marble to the hair. I'm going to close it up a little bit, be conservative, and come over to, I have that on support enough. I'm going to come back over here. Now remember, that's from the edge of this marble that no longer exists. So if I were going to look well, what I could do is come here to this marble and say, wow, okay, the hair lines up with that point, transition point. So now I can come over with my ruler, put it flat, make a vertical, make that parallel to this marble here, although really that's probably a silly thing because if the marble's not cut well, and cut here. This is the hair for that face. Now, I'll take a picture of this thing here because what it is, right now I have one slice coming off for the outer face. Then I have another depth to go for this face. Then I'm going to have a third depth to go back to the hair and then to the wing, okay? I haven't decided yet how much that is. A lot of it's going to depend on how strong this tip is. But if I get a stair step, 1, 2, 3, I've gotten a lot of material off and I can start actually building up this depth. Now you see how this looks on the, put this back over here. Take care of my baby girls. And so you see these are the marks that I made over here. This is the first face and the second face. My safety guard, because I will be using the diamond blade to cut along this line to make sure that I don't accidentally chip anything away in this section here, alright? So, piece by piece. And I can extend these lines here so that once I cut away here, I don't miss these, alright? Okay. Thanks for following me along. Woohoo! Yay! Isn't this fun? Alright, so this is where I'm going to end my first day. I know a lot of carvers with a lot more experience can get a lot more done than this, and this is a beautiful time of day, frankly. The weather's gorgeous, and it's cool, and it's not got sun in my eyes, but I'm going to finish. So I have one sister's face, the second sister's face, and then a stop here, and then we go up into the one wing. It's the one wing. Okay. And you can see what I'm doing here. But I tend to be a carver that needs a little bit of time because I just think cautiously and I don't want to screw it up, and I'm still getting to know this piece of marble. There are times like up in here you can see it's kind of chipping there and I'm a little bit worried about that, but right now I'm going to take it nice and easy and then we're going to make it rough. No, that's my Tina Turner imitation, haha. So, I would rather go slow, in fact, and I would rather take my time getting where I need to go. And also, there are times when I need to sleep on something because sometimes something's going on that I'm not really totally aware of, and my brain will say, ha ha ha, pay attention to this. So, I like my sleep time as much as I like other things, but also, to be fair, I have a lot of other work I have to catch up on, and I've got 2 dead computers, so it's kind of interesting to see how that's going to work out. So, ciao for now, and we'll finish again. Well, not finish tomorrow, but I'm going to keep moving forward with this tomorrow. So, appreciate your paying attention. Ciao, ciao. It's pretty, though, isn't it?